Hello everybody, today Nail Talk Live is themed Halloween.
Halloween, yes, of course. It's the time of the month again. Yeah.
Almost. We decided to do the Halloween show a week before Halloween, so that's what we show you today, that you can use that inspiration in your nail studios.
Yes, exact. And we have a very full show again and beautiful nails.
Yeah, I'm going to show a new technique that came from Russia, but more about that later. We have a lot to do, a lot of ground to cover, and I hear somebody laughing. Let's start. We had a very busy weekend, huh?
Yes, we did.
Because we had a trainer here in Holland, a magnetic trainer, and that was your first trainer.
It was my first trainer, yes, and I enjoyed it very much. Of course, I did my expert thing, the competition square nail, and they loved it.
Yes, they were completely impressed, and now they began to understand how thin a competition nail actually is.
And how difficult it actually is, because if you see someone who's experienced and you see someone making those nails, you think, oh, well, that's
you
easy.
Just slap it on there, but it takes a lot of technical skill.
Yeah, to understand. So it was very nice to see that they were so inspired.
Next week you also have a competition training in the company.
Yeah.
So a lot of trainings.
Yeah, love it.
To do competition, you need to be very skilled, and of course, also our trainers are very skilled. And Cerisa will show us tonight how to create an awesome crystal spider.
Yeah, beautiful.
Together with a concrete effect base done with aqua colors. Very cool.
Yes, and one of the trainers who was also with me this weekend is Mirjam, and Mirjam shows also a beautiful Halloween nail in combination with fast liner gel and super fast.
Yeah, very cool. And Yessica will show one of my favorite Disney queens or villains, Maleficent. Hand-painted, beautiful design, really impressive. She's really an artist, huh?
She is. That's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yessica was also with us this weekend doing her air nails class, her cartoon class.
I saw some beautiful Disney figures, and that was beautiful.
Very cool. Who also was with us this weekend was Katerina Konchar, and Katerina, as you may know, is from the Ukraine. And last week, at the end of last week, a new trend emerged called 3D French manicure. And 3D French manicure is a type of French manicure with a lot of depth. A very abstract, geometric version of the French manicure, really something for you
yes,
also.
Yes, I absolutely adore this,
Those were the nails of Katerina herself. And I asked her, because a lot of people were questioning, how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you get that effect? And luckily, Katerina was able to explain it to us. And we will explain this to you tonight. So how to create 3D French manicure nails.
But of course, with a little bit of a Halloween twist.
With a little bit of a Halloween twist, because this technique you
just
can
the colors,
so, very exciting.
Yes, it is. Well, that leaves us. We're going to prepare for the tech table, of course, so Pepyn can show you this beautiful nail, and then you can watch to Mirjam, who shows you her M-stips.
Hello, nice to see you again. Today I'm going to show you a design with fast liner gels. I'm going to use gel polishes, Gel Polish Black as Black, Kick-Ass Coral and the fast liner gel white. And I'm just going to add some fun things. The nails prepared, I applied power gel as a base, and on top of this nail I'm going to work with the gel polishes Black as Black and Kick-Ass Coral. Of both colors I applied a little drop on the palette, and I'm going to apply these with a triangle brush. The very first coat needs to be very thin, and I want to have it perfect around the cuticle. First the left side using gel polish black as black and concentrating on a perfect application at the sidewall line and the cuticle. Then the other side with kick-ass coral gel polish, again concentrating on the application at the sidewall line. Pulling it through each other in the middle, creating the start of the ombre effect.
Deze kleuren zet ik tegen elkaar aan.
These colors are applied against each other to get the ombre effect, and this first coat is cured for 30 seconds in the twilight. The second coat I apply with the brush from the bottle. First the black as black at the left side of the nail, and then the kick-ass coral on the right side of the nail.
Vergeet niet om het korstje van je
Don't
kick-ass
forget
gel goed
to
vast te
clean the
maken
brush
voor
of
de
the kick-ass
finish.
coral gel polish before applying it back into the bottle.
Ga 30 seconden
The
in
second
de
coat is applied and cured
Als
for
deze
30
opwarmt,
seconds
komt
in the
de
twin
lange
light.
vanaf met het stringen.
After this comes out of
En
the
daarna
light, I
gaan we
finish
naar
it
de
with
binnen.
extreme matte top gel.
Nu is mijn basis klaar.
The
Dan
base
ga
is
ik door
done
met de
and I'm
fastliner
going to
gel.
work with the fast liner gel, taking the white fast liner gel.
De fastliner gel verdeel ik tussen de twee kleuren in.
I apply the fast liner gel in
Voordat
between the
deze
two
lang
colors,
gaat, spreken
and
we eerst
before
met
I
Mermaid
cure
en Red
this,
Gold
I
overheen.
just spray it with mermaid spray red gold to give a hint of glitter.
En dan gaat de fastliner gel
The fast liner
1,5
gel
minuut
is
in de
cured
twin.
1.5 minutes in the
Als
twin
hij dan
light.
uit de lamp komt,
When it
gebruik ik
comes
de
out of the
overige
light, I
stickers met
remove
zachte
the
worsten,
loose glitter
voeg
with a
er nog
soft
een
dust brush
steentjes
and
aan
I
toe
just
en dan
add a
klaar.
few
Ik
rhinestones.
gebruik de rode en witte steentjes uit
I'm
de
going to use
carousel
the red and the
en
white
ga het
rhinestones from the
vastzetten
carousels,
met de
and I'm going
gemstone
to
gel.
apply these using gemstone gel. Just apply the rhinestones randomly on top of the design that you made with the fast liner gel.
Als je het leuk vindt, zou je natuurlijk ook nog
If
een
you
bouillon
really
erop
like it, you
kunnen
can add
voegen.
some
Zorg
bouillons.
ervoor dat je genoeg gemstone gel hebt.
Always
waardoor
make
je
sure that you
steentjes
use
vast blijven
enough
zitten.
gemstone gel
De
to
gemstone gel
ensure
voor
the
1,5
proper
minuut in de
fit
wand
of
en
these
dan terug om
rhinestones
te
and
doen.
cure it for 1.5 minutes. This is the end result, isn't it cool?
Ik zie
I
jullie
hope to
graag
see you
weer
next
bij de
time.
volgende.
Well, as always, super easy and fun nail art from Mirjam. Thank you. Pepyn, how are you feeling? Do you enjoy to do already your favorite new style of nails?
Well, it's really an inspiring way to do nails. I really have a lot of ideas what you can do with this. What we see now is a real geometric or symmetrical French manicure. But I do think that you can create stained glass effects, designs, flowers, and work in different layers. But let's start with a relatively easy version. I already applied the form and I'm going to use power gel.
Yeah.
This gives me a little bit more time.
It gives you more time. You're starting, of course, with the clear power gel to create a safe base
Yeah.
and something to work on.
Yes, and I'm using Prep and Wipe to work my power gel. And I also learned from Katerina to work with an acrylic brush with the power gel, as this is a little bit easier to take the full length of the nail
And make a super thin
and
layer.
make a super thin layer.
That's also even.
Yeah. Of course, on my model, I tried to do this nail this afternoon, and I noticed that you do need a little bit of structure, and you need to give it a good pinch after you apply the nail bed, in order for the nail to become slim enough for the design. Otherwise, it kind of fans out. And that's just a little bit too much of a good thing. So, let's check.
You are choosing a length that's very long. Can you do this with a short nail as well?
Yes, of course. I choose the longer length just to create a little bit more drama and to be able to create some bigger parts of the design, so it's a little bit more visible. You can go into the light. I just see that on the right side I need a little bit more of the clear product at the corner of the free edge. It's a little bit thin, and otherwise I'm afraid that when I remove the form it snaps off. So I'll just take a tiny bit, and we can already work with it now, and just apply it on the free edge. Power gel cures super fast, and I just push it in there. So the next step will be the nail bed. Let's put it a little bit lower. My model is actually one of my colleagues and one of the few persons that I work on and do nails. So I think this is good. You can go back in the light and just give it a quick cure. Curing a clear coat of product, it takes about 30 seconds maximum. When it's a colored coat of product, of course, you will need a minute to 1 minute and a half. Depends on the thickness of the application.
And it's still flexible enough to pinch?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do give it, good that you help me. I'll give it a slight pinch. Just, you can also hear it. Of course, be careful not to break it off the natural nail. Yeah, you can go back. And I'll take some Power Gel Nude to create the nail bed.
Create a nail bed. And nude is slightly more covering than the extender.
It has more coverage than the extender. Extender is a beautiful color, but semi-translucent, semi-transparent. It's a little bit more flesh toned. This is a little bit pinkish, so I'll prefer to use normal pink at the cuticle just for a proper blend. Okay, yes, you can go. And we will create the nail bed. It is quite tempting to use a lot of product. And you have to be careful not to overuse the mass of product, because sometimes I see people working and they use huge amounts of product. I prefer to work a little bit thinner, so not too much. As you can see, it's quite covering. And then we do the blend. So hold it downward. First, I'm blending it into the natural nail.
So you're really using also the natural structure of the nail.
Yeah.
Of the natural nail.
Yes, the model has quite a curved nail bed, so I like to use that. And it's really helpful now, and as you can see on the camera, it really is enough to cover the free edge of the natural nail. It's even a little bit too much, but I'll correct the smile line. And the smile line is a very important thing here. We will also file the smile line when it's cured to get the perfect symmetrical smile line and a perfect wall to work against. Of course, nowadays, the wall of the smile line is an important feature. 10 years ago, we just had a smile line.
Yeah. But it was a traditional way of making a smile line. With the reverse technique, it's very important to have a wall to keep the smile line very crisp.
So, I'll not overdo it. I'll just make a nice rounded smile line. And we give this a quick cure.
And with a quick cure is just 10?
Well, it's about 10 seconds or until it gets warm. If it gets warm, my model, you have to come out because that's the moment to pinch.
Yeah.
It gets warm? Okay, let's do it. So I'll just use my traditional pinching tool. Of course, nowadays you see types of pliers that they use for pinching, but I prefer to use just a normal, the same that I used last week. So let's have a look. And as you can see in this area of the nail, we really need product. So you can go back in the light for just, let's say, another 10 seconds. Because the fact that the nail becomes warm is a clear sign that the polymerization process has started.
Yes.
And when it started, it doesn't stop. So it's already polymerized. It's almost finished polymerizing.
Yeah.
So I'm just fixating the C-curve now.
Yeah.
I do take a little bit more nude in the middle part of the natural nail, because the blending is really only here, and I'm afraid that if I do now the normal pink, that I will get some demarcation there. So just a little bit of product, not too much. Using my acrylic brush, I think this is the best tip ever that Katarina gave me. We are so fortunate that Katarina was here because then we are able to show you, our viewers, how to create this nail. Because otherwise it is, yeah, so cool. Blend, 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 blend. Don't make it too high, because the height of the nail is also important. And here I have a little glitter, so just take it off.
Some extra nail art.
Yeah, it's a pity if it stays on there, because it will, yeah, that will be the only thing that I will see. So blend it together. That's the nice thing with Power Gel, you're able to blend and blend and blend, blend, blend. So this area is important to keep this flat. And you have to check the structure. Yes, you can go back in the light. Again, if it tingles, get out. And I'll take the normal pink.
Yeah, so this is completely transparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it has a slight milkish kind of hue. So it gives it, if I show it on the camera, it's not completely transparent.
No.
So that's why it blends nicely together.
Okay.
Not too much, of course. And again, it's very easy to take too much.
So you're choosing now to build the complete structure of the nail bed first. Is this always a step that is necessary before you're going to elongate the nail?
No, it's not necessary. But I'm not going to finish the nail using clear. I'm going to build the colors up against the free edge of the nail bed. So then I want to make sure that the airtight seal around the cuticle is completely in place. Because otherwise there is a chance that while working, dust gets on her nail bed and the nail could lift. So I just want an airtight seal. So I'm just going to press the pink in place. And hold the finger where it should be for you guys to be able to see it. Blend it. It's like acrylic.
Yeah, that's what I love about Power Gel as well.
And what I love about acrylic.
Yeah. Power Gel has exact the consistency that acrylic has when it's good enough to mold and to build with it.
So just tapping it into place. Okay, you can go in the light. Now we need to do a full cure of about a minute and a half. What I will do before we come back to you is I'll remove the form and I'll file the smile line of the nail bed. I will file that in shape and I will file the surface of the nail, flattening the corner, the wall. But we will show that when we get back.
Yeah,
but just to speed up the process, because guys, otherwise we cannot get the design done.
So while Pepyn is curing his first base layer of the nail and the nail bed, we are going to watch to Cerisa, and she's going to show us a beautiful Halloween spider.
Hello everybody, nice that you're looking at a new episode of Nail Talk Live. Today I'm going to make something fun for Halloween. I'm not really great in hand painting, but just a few lines is easy to do, and I'm going to use my products in the best way possible. I already prepared the nail, an almond nail with Power Gel. I'm going to start with my design. I'm going to use gel polish white is white for the background. I always start applying the gel polish in the middle of the nail, not too close to the cuticle. This prevents seepage of the color into the cuticle line. Every step I go a little bit closer to the cuticle to make it more perfect. And make sure that you cover the side walls on both sides completely. As you see, there's already beautiful coverage with one coat of white is white, but of course I'm going to use a second coat. Using Jessica's Choice brush and a little bit of white is white, I'm just perfecting the cuticle area. The more even and tighter the cuticle, the longer the client has pleasure of her nails. And I'm going to apply a second coat. When both coats are cured, I'm applying an extreme matte top gel. And then we're going to make a fun little design. Very fast, very easy. So pay attention. I have Aqua Colors Black on my palette. It dries in. It's a bit dried in. I'm just taking a little bit of acetone on my nail art brush and I'm just waking it up. I'm just waking it up. Just come on, wake up, and I just add this in sweeping motions over the nail. And I'm just sweeping over it, blending a little bit, adding a little bit of acetone, taking a little bit more aqua colors, and you see it becomes like a concrete effect. A concrete effect nail. We already have a very cool nail. Now I want to finish this with extreme matte, but I want to prevent the color from fading. So first a very thin coat of base and top gel, and then finishing it with extreme matte. I'm taking a little bit of gemstone gel and I apply this in the middle of the nail because I want to fixate my awesome crystal. And I need quite a lot of product because it's a big stone. And I'm applying it in the shape of the stone. With the tweezers I'm picking up the rhinestones, it's quite heavy, and I put this in the middle. It is very important that the gemstone gel is applied also a little bit around the stone because it grips the stone and makes sure that the stone stays on the nail for a long time. Just check to see if you need a little bit of more gemstone gel. Above this big stone I apply a smaller stone, and this is the head of the spider. Using my wax pickup to pick up the rhinestone and to apply it. Cool. This goes in the twin light for about 1.5 minutes to be sure that the rhinestone is fixated properly. With the black licorice Cerisa Sweeties color gel I'm going to create the legs of the spider, 8 legs to be precise. I'll start with the legs on the right side. First going to the right side wall, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm using Pepyn's Choice brush, and this is ideal to make long lines. On the other side I repeat this, and then the long front legs of the spider just to make it creepy. Just add them, and you see it already becomes a terrifying spider. They don't need to be precise, they don't need to be exactly the same. It's just the whole cool effect of the bedazzled spider look for Halloween. And I'm finishing the front legs. When everything is done, you cure it for 1.5 minutes in the twin light. Now I'm going to use white coconut Cerisa Sweeties color gel, and I'm going to highlight the legs of the spider, just to give it a little bit more oomph. When everything is done, I place it back in the twin light for a minute. With this gemstone gel I'm going to fixate a little bit of bullions to create a spider web of the spider. And you can see it's hanging from a thread of bullions. This is the design. I hope you can see it because the rhinestone is really shimmering. But I mean, it needs to be bedazzling Halloween, don't you think? You can do this as I did it. I have space for this bigger nail. So I hope you liked it, and I hope that you will watch me again next week. Bye!
Wow, beautiful as always. As you may have noticed, Cerisa was a little bit manly voice, and Mirjam as well. That's because our translator and our voiceover Kirsten, she's on a holiday. So Kirsten, enjoy your holiday. Of course you heard Pepyn, and your voiceover is always amazing. The crystals of Cerisa that Cerisa used, actually the bling blings, when I was in London doing the competition, there was actually a bling bling competition. So using the most beautiful crystals and dazzling crystals and making the most fun designs with it, just as Cerisa did. And maybe you didn't know yet, but Magnetic has some beautiful, beautiful crystals. So let's take a look. Well, isn't that just amazing? I really love the crystals. They're so clear and bright. You have to have this in your salon. Pepyn, where are you?
Yeah. I filed the nail bed, as I said, and I filed the smile line. So with a 180 grid file and using a sapphire file. And now the thing comes, the design. So let's take a look at the products that I have here. As you can see, I have here my paper palette, and I mixed here various shades of Power Gel Clear. Power Gel Clear together with a little bit of yellow concentrate, then orange, red and yellow concentrate, the red one, and here I have a purple of blue and red concentrate, and a tiny bit of black concentrate. That's new. I have here clear Power Gel, and I have here liner gel white. So the first thing that we're going to do is create the base layer of the nail, and the base layer of the nail is made with the liner gel white, and I'm going to mix this liner gel white using a little bit of blue. So I'll take a little bit of blue on my palette, and using a spatula I'm just taking a little bit of the blue. It's very concentrated, so never use too much, and just mix this together. I hope you can see this. Do you see how concentrated it is?
And you get like baby bluish.
Yes, well, it's actually a little bit too blue. So I'm going to take a little bit extra of the liner gel white, because it really needs to be bright enough for the effect to be visible. So here I have more liner gel white. And now it becomes really pale blue.
Yeah.
This will be the base of the design, but also what separates the elements of the design from each other.
Okay.
So, mix this. And I also want to have some dark blue. Of course, I have purple. So I'll take a little bit of the concentrate, blue concentrate, and I'll mix that in the clear Power Gel.
Yeah.
Mixing clear Power Gel is a little bit different because now you have to spatula it through.
And you're really pressing the concentrate in to the clear.
Because you have to be careful not to get air bubbles. That's also a tip that Katarina gave. If you want to mix the colors of Power Gel with clear, mix it a little bit beforehand, before you use it, because then it will have time to become clear again.
Okay.
Just a little bit of blue. Mixing is really cool, because you are able to custom create any color. And now we have the palette ready to go.
Cool. So you're first going to start with a base layer again. Yeah.
Base layer and the free edge of the nail. I have here my magnetic click-on stand with my brushes, because I'm going to work between my detailing brush, a detailer number 3, and my Prestige acrylic brush, and I have to go back and forth. So let's take the nail nicely centered. I'll take my palette a little bit in the vicinity, and I'll start with my detailer number 3, and I'll paint the free edge. Right to the natural nail. Yes, very thin. Liner gel white is really very, very covering. It's also mixed in a different way than traditional color gels. So it's really grounded. The pigment is grounded into the gel.
And you're really following the smile line to make it looking very crisp and popping out.
Yeah, but I'm not yet fixing the wall. I'm just do whatever works. Then I'm going to go to the corners here. And now you see that the wall is not yet done here. So now I'll just take a little bit extra and go in and around. Make sure that you get enough coverage, and be careful not to apply it too thick. As a result of painting the wall, that you don't get an excess of product just on the free edge beneath the natural nail. So go in.
Yeah, this is very precise work. You can of course do this with a finer brush if you like to, so There are different ways to get really into the pointiness of the smile line, the ears. Some prefer a bigger brush, some prefer even smaller brushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a little bit here on my nail bed, so just take a nail wipe and just, not that it's important.
You're gonna file it afterwards.
Yeah, but I'll see it otherwise,
Yeah.
and it will irritate me immensely. Okay, now this goes in the light for a couple of seconds while I'm preparing my color.
Okay.
So I'm going to take my first color. Let's take the purple
Yeah.
and take a little bit on my spatula, like this. I'll take it like this. Not too much. The first nail that I tried, it was easy to take too much of the product. Just work in thin applications. It's always easier to add on than to take off. Yes. Let's check to see if the nail is cured, because if we're too fast, then it's going to blend out. So I'll always do that with the other side of the spatula. Then take my product and just roll it off the spatula. Spatula to one side. Take your brush and first pressing it a little bit to the natural nail. And now we're going to create the first replication of the smile line. It is important that the height of the nail bed is followed in the free edge, so that there's not a huge bump, because you want to really file through it to get the effect done. So that's why it's easy in the beginning to get it too thick, because you think, oh, I won't get the desired height. But just working towards the smile line and cleaning it a little bit and flattening. And now you can flatten as with acrylic, and you'll get automatically the correct
height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the table.
Are you working a little bit more tangled towards the extension edge, or is it just straight on?
How do you mean?
Like your brush, is it completely parallel, or is it already a little bit?
A tiny bit
Tiny
already.
bit.
Yeah, not too much. So let's check. This is it. We can push it a little bit more down. And we can go in the light for about 10 seconds. And then we have to take this away. So this is not the fastest nail there is.
No.
Because in between, you will need your best friend, your file. Because I'm going to file this smile line again, the shape, again with my 180 grit file, and reapply the light base color. And that's how I'll go through the design. So let's do this.
Well, of course, it is now you're doing one nail, but when you're doing like 5, you will take every step to each nail. So that makes it a little bit faster.
Yes, although my colleague, Gillian from the art department, I said the same thing to him, and he said to me, oh yes, Pepyn, but then by the time you get to the last nail, the model already has a grown out area, and she needs to do a fill. But it's just a matter of building it up quickly, and don't overthink it.
When you're filing a smile line like you're doing now, is there a specific hold of your file? Because sometimes I see the file is more straight or flipped inwards. What is your advice?
Well, I believe the advice is that on the sides you flip it inward, 45-degree angle. In the middle you hold it flat against it, and to the side you angle it back in. But I don't do competitions or anything. So what is your opinion about that, Debbie?
Yeah,
because I just do something.
Well, I absolutely do agree with that. Be very careful with holding your file too flipped against the smile line, because when you start filing on top, then you will lose the sharpness of your smile line that you filed in. So try to keep as straight as possible, and in the corners you tangle a little bit in. So you're perfectly fine.
I'm going back now. What I noticed is with the filing, of course, the thin coat of liner gel white damages a little bit, at least when I do this. But that's no problem, because of course I'm going to reapply the white around this wall, like this. A little bit more on this side. And then I can also correct this. Let's check the height to see if I really have it up to...
The highest point.
I don't know if that's really necessary, but I have the feeling it is. So I'm just discovering.
I think just being sure for unsure, though. Even if you start filing and you put your Y too low, then you will probably don't see the 3D effect, and now you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I also noticed is that your colors need to be really transparent. If they're too opaque, then it's like color blocking.
Yeah.
And color blocking is cool, but it's something else.
Yeah, it don't gives you the same transparency or the 3D effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'll go to the next color on my palette. Well, that's very fast, model. Perhaps a little bit longer. That was really like only 7 or 8 seconds. I didn't even have time to load my spatula. Come. Yes, now you can come. So, as you can see, a bit strange. I'll have my next product and I'll apply it underneath. And this is how you build it.
So it's layer for layer. But you're now making smile lines, but you can do, of course, all different kind of things.
Yes, my imagination is running amok here, because before we started the show, I said to the girls of the art department, "Oh, you can also do this. You can also do this. You can also do this. Shall I do this? Shall I do this? Shall I do this?" Because you get really interesting effects. Because of course it's time consuming, but the lining of the design is different than when you hand paint on top of it. It's really a different effect. So I'm working on some ideas in my mind, and if they are nice, then I'll show them next time, perhaps, or the time after that. Because you could do semi-abstract butterfly wings, Egyptian jewels. I mean, the sky is the limit. I'm just pulling a little bit more here in the middle, just because for time's sake I want to have a slightly bigger area. Check to make sure that it's nicely symmetrical. And we go back in the light.
And now we're going to file again.
Yes, it is, yeah. When you know the trick, you know the trick. And then it's a matter of doing it and doing it and doing it.
Yeah.
So I believe we now have another beautiful thing to see.
Yes, we absolutely do. Because, of course, we have our queen of art, Yessica, and she's going to show us Maleficent.
Hi! Nice that you're watching again. Yay, it's Halloween! I really like Halloween. This is one of the themes that you can apply also in your nail studios to create beautiful nail art on the ladies that visit your salon. And Halloween is really one of the coolest themes to make on a nail. Today I'm going to make a hand-painted design. I'm going to paint Maleficent. But with Halloween you can go so many ways. I'm going to show you also other designs a little bit later. In a former season of Nail Talk Live I showed Pennywise, the dancing clown from the movie It. Also very Halloween and cool. Really, just let your imagination go and get clients to create this on. And today I'm going to hand paint Maleficent with master paints. The colors that I will use are plentiful. Master paint white and black, and then emerald, lime, pure red, deep bordeaux, deep purple. My background is nail blade extender gel polish applied twice, removed the sticky layer, buffed it with a white block, and now I'm going to start. I'm mixing my white master paint with a little bit of water. And I'm going to begin with a sketch of the face. Maleficent has a crown, and this is kind of V-shaped on her forehead. So I'm first apply that, and then from there I'm creating the sides of her face. I'm making the shape of the face and just blending it inward. She has very pronounced cheekbones, very wide. And her jawline is also quite strong towards her chin and going back upward and ending the jawline at the other cheekbone. Just filling in with white master paint. Her neck, underneath the chin, the beginning, a little neck, and some of her cleavage. Going to the sides. Using black master paint, I'm going to create the crown with the horns on top of her head. This is the very top, and then I'm going to add the sides like a little cap. And then the horns coming straight out of them at an angle. First the right side and then the left side. To work symmetrical is quite difficult, so make sure that you're sitting straight in front of your design to make sure that the left side is even to the right side. I'm using a smaller detailing brush now with emerald green, and I'm going to make little lines on the horns of the crown of Maleficent. Also a little bit here in the center, just to give small details to her crown. I want to create some shadows in the face, and I'm adding a little bit of deep purple with my emerald, using water and mixing it to create like a tourmaline blue petrol shade that I will use to blend underneath the headpiece and just blend it out. At the moment she really looks quite pale, but I'm going to add some more color to her face. Underneath the cheekbones, a little bit of extra shadow. The eyes. Using white master paint. She's looking straight at you. Eyes between the cheekbones. This is a cartoon that I'm drawing, so the eyes are quite big. A little bit more pronounced. Perhaps exaggerated, so easier than when it would be a realistic portrayal of Maleficent. Big eyes. And now I'm lining out the face. Using black master paint very thinly and deepening the shadows alongside the cheekbones. Around the eyes, now that I'm working with black, the upper eyeliner, the lower eyeliner, and then the eyelid. And of course lashes, beautiful lashes. On the top and on the bottom, beautiful lashes. The brows, I mean, what is a woman without her brows? Not one simple line, but just very small little strokes with the brush. The pupils in her eyes. A little bit of pure red to create the lips, just making a beautiful shape, a cartoon-like mouth. Back to her nose, just to give it a little bit more definition. A little bit of shadow around it to give it more pronunciation. A little bit of lime, and I'm using the lime in her eyes to give her green eyes. some highlights here and there, just where your imagination goes, with a little bit of Master Paint White, using my Master Detailing brush. Not too much, just enough to make it come alive. So, and then I finish it, and I would love to do this shiny with 2 coats of a top gel. And this is the end result. Maleficent, looking straight at you from a tip. Oh yeah, I have something more to show you, because I also have a realistic version of Maleficent. That's hand painting 2.0, because it takes a little bit longer, but then you have a realistic Maleficent. And this is a very cute zombie girl. Just cute. Maleficent, super cool to make, super nice, and I hope you liked it. And see you next time. Bye!
Well, absolutely gorgeous. The way how Jessica sees things with her clear mind, I just, it blows my mind. And I think it blows your mind too, right, Pepyn?
Yeah, beautiful. And I did the videotaping with Jessica, and I was like, oh yes, there she is, Maleficent, so cool. And I have to see Maleficent 2. It came into the cinemas last week.
Yes,
I have to see it because I love Maleficent. Luckily, Jessica gave me enough time to finish the build-up of the design. It's now curing. I think it's done.
Okay, let's take a look.
And of course, with Power Gel, you always need to remove the sticky layer using a little bit of Prep and Wipe. Here we have it. Now the thing is that I'm going to file the nail, and let's hold it like this. So I don't have a lot of space to file the nail, so it's quite smooth. And I didn't cap it with clear or anything because of the design. I want to see the thin white lines when I finish. And of course you can do this with any color. Be creative, be amazing, just share your results and let us see what you did. I'm just going to file. You can walk me through my file steps.
Yeah. So you're starting, of course, with the side walls.
Yes.
Making them very thin.
Yeah.
And straight.
Straight. And I have to double check that I don't overfile the side walls and lose my color. Free edge. Oh, that's my hair. Of course, it would be also beautiful in an almond shape. So lower arch line.
Lower arch line.
Just using a 180. I'm now using a metal core because I like to have the weight of the file. The other side, you can see that I already go a little bit through it over here, but no problem because I still have to do my lower arch.
Yeah, the metal core is also very thin, so it really allows you to get deep into the side walls.
Yeah, and if you want to get in a little bit deeper, of course you can use a sapphire file. But we just spoke about this before the show because the sapphire is very flexible. So really hold it in place when you're filing, because otherwise you file in areas where you don't want to file. Let me check the shape. So, okay, so now I have a yucky nail. So I'm going to file the surface. I'm going to file the surface of the free edge and then working towards the middle. So I have the nail in my hand. What I forgot to mention is that I also added some of the Power Gel Nude here in the middle of the nail, just to have the color come back.
Yeah, you're really filing towards the extension.
Yeah, but don't angle it.
Stay flat.
Stay flat, otherwise you will lose your color.
Yeah, and you're holding it this way because it's easier for us right-handed to get all the way to the sides.
Yeah, and I really go from perpendicular to the side, really going upwards. And this will help me also not to overfile the color again on the sides. Because the cool thing is you can look through your color, so you know where you have a little bit more area.
Yeah.
Cuticle line. Of course, I already focused on that with my Power Gel application.
Yeah.
But it always needs a little bit of filing. Now I'm slowly starting to work my way
To the middle.
to the middle. I had here a little dent, but it's disappearing. It's Halloween, it's creepy, it's spooky, it's terribly ooky. Next week we'll also have a show, and it's more about the new products, I believe, Debbie. Because we will have open
Yes,
house in Holland.
and new techniques. So new products, new techniques. There's open house in Holland. So that is always the time that we will introducing you all fun stuff, new stuff. And that is what the show is going to be next week. And I think we are going to do this together as well.
Of course.
Of course.
We are always together. Almost finished, people. Just have to check and hold always the finger towards the client to double check. It looks a bit strange, I know. But this is the client perspective. If you don't check it from the client perspective, the client sees things that you don't see. And don't be tempted to follow the lines that you made, because then it will be crooked. And I always check like this, looking over the nail, because then I see any yucky stuff, like you, and then I just blend that off. Blend, 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 blend. So super easy design, because it's not a matter of skill, it's a matter of filing.
Well, filing is a
And we
skill
love
too.
filing, we're nail techs. So I'll remove the dust. And of course you can finish this matte or shiny. I'll take the table towel away because dust is terrible. It's the one thing I really hate in the studio.
Yeah, but one thing you cannot avoid.
Yeah, and the thing is, we have, of course, a fan here. We have a power fan here on the floor. But if I turn that on, you will hear only...
Yeah. It does not work on a camera.
No. Because some people were afraid that we would breathe all the dust. But that's purely because on the camera we have the microphones and we have to be careful with what we use. So, here we go. And
Cool.
let's take a little bit of... You can finish it matte or you can finish it high shine. And I will use extreme matte. But the good thing with extreme matte is that when I apply it, you will see the result high shine.
I surely do think that is beautiful as well.
Yes, I do. I love shiny.
But
Shine
with the
bright
matte
like a
trend-
diamond.
Yeah.
So here you have it.
Beautiful.
And
You
then
can see 3D effect.
go into the light. I'll clean my hands. And then we will see it matte. Are you curious?
I am.
bet that you will be able to create even nicer nails, like working with this technique than I did. It's my second. So I think next week I will have to show what my inspiration, where my inspiration took me. Let's have a look. And here we have it matte finished. And a shiny version.
And a shiny version. That's cool too. With different shapes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we went to Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Ooh. Very different nails, same technique, endless possibilities.
Well, thank you, Pepyn. This was very, very cool to see, because this new technique, I was bedazzled by it. Like, how are they doing it? Well, this is the
As
way.
was I.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the way how to do it. Cool. Thank you.
Next week, new products, new techniques, new ideas, new glitters, new glamour,
Everything new.
everything new.
Yeah.
A new Nail Talk Live. Thank you for watching. And thank
Until
you
next week.
to be my model. And we'll prepare for next week and for tonight.
And for tonight. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.